was it a business that you felt you had enough experience, or was it something that was just the opportunity existed and you were willing to learn?
Exactly.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was, I think, maybe skipping over that a little bit, but like, again, going back to me, it never felt like the product was wildlife consulting. That's all I'm going to do, or, silviculture, and that's all we're going to do. It was just connecting with people, and the product of the service didn't seem to matter as much. That you could make it successful as long as you could connect with customers and decision makers. And so that's something that was always natural
Yeah.
for me to be able to do. Having said that, working with your bride in the same place, working for your father-in-law, mother-in-law, I do not recommend. Some people can do it, but it was 24/7.
Those different kind of connections, huh?
Yeah, Len and I will be married. It'll be 34 years this year, but during that time, we had new babies on the way and all that kind of stuff. Do not work with your spouse. She would tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
Because we really had major different styles. So I'm like, at the time, how do I get out of this? Let Lynn
Mm,
take this over.
mm.
And one of the customers was a lumber wholesale import person. I'm like, great. What do I do?
What do I?
And so,
Wow. Okay, so
yeah, I'm
we've
like, I got to
we've
get
come a
out of
long way
here.
from biology. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
now I'm importing lumber from New Zealand and Chile for high-end doors, windows by the container loads. It's just shiploads of lumber being imported to the U.S. to all these factories. And for that, you have a little markup on that, and you can make a pretty decent living. So, here we are importing out of New Zealand, and it was pretty wild. Our contacts on the South Island in New Zealand, I was down there working one time because we'd go down, look at
Yeah.
the plant and so
Yeah.
forth, and spend a couple of weeks, then come home. They pulled me aside and they said, "Hey, if you will go back and start your own firm, we don't like your supervisor or
Oh
the
wow.
person you're
Yeah.
working for.
Yeah.
If you'll start your own business, we'll funnel all this material through you instead." So that was kind of sketchy, where I had to come home and tell them, "Hey, here's the keys, and oh, by the way, I'm taking your supply from New Zealand and start my own lumber import
So you
firm."
did that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not
So you
it's not
started your
for
own business out of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not for everybody that says, "Hey, I want to be my own boss. I want to be, have my own business." That part of it never really frightened me, so to speak. It was, hey, listen, if I do right by the clients,
Yeah.
and I do
Yeah.
right by the customer, and treat people like I would want to be treated, all this can be successful.
Yeah.
So that was in 2003.
And it
And
sounds like you were quite sure that you were doing that, and that maybe there was some systemic issues that existed that you realized you were the right person to be able to do this job the right way, and you had now the skills and the resources and the opportunity with these clients that wanted to work only with you. Like,
yeah, they
yeah.
they knew that the people I was working with were not necessarily straight and narrow folks,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
and I couldn't disagree with that.
Yeah.
So it was easy for me to say, "Hey, you should not work with them," so to speak, and since you know me and trust me, we'll do that. So that was just going gangbusters. And
Cool.
at the time, there was a couple of advisors that worked for Ameriprise Financial at the time, and they leased an office right next to mine. So I got
Okay.
to talking to them, and there was friends with them, and they're like, "Yeah, this is what we do." And I'm like, "Wow, really? This is so fascinating." And I'm like, how long has this been going on of helping people with their finances and so forth? In the meantime, the lumber business was going terrific. We spent 3 months one time, 6 months another time. It was New Zealand with my family.
Cool.
Our son Gus basically went to first grade in New Zealand in a 2-room schoolhouse with a wood stove kind of deal, and it was wonderful,
That's
absolutely.
cool. Yeah.
But as I got to talking more about these guys, it was like, hey, I could use my scientific knowledge
Yeah. I
and
can see this.
ability to like study all the charts and all the
Yeah.
history of markets. But then I also love connecting with people. I could mix these two together. That would be really cool. Well, then 2008, which we all know happened, at the real estate crash. Well, guess what happens to the lumber importing business when real estate crashes? So there I am with a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old, 2 kids. Well, fortunately, Lynn's working this whole time. It's funny. She works for another advisor, Edward Jones
Oh,
Advisor.
wow. Oh, wow.
So she was steady through all that time, but I'm like, I got to do this.
Yeah.
So started working for the Ameriprise guys at the time, and they're like, well, here's a phone book. Start cold calling people.
Mhm.
Brutal.